How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? In this video, I'm going to talk about what is software engineering and my personal stories to become a software engineer. I know a lot of people might be curious about software engineering, especially for those who are keen to join this industry. Therefore, this video is made for those people, especially for students back in schools. I do hope someone can guide me when I was at college, because at that time, the software engineering, this kind of concept is very ambiguous to me. So previously I've made a lot of videos, so if you're interested, feel free to check out my engineering playlist. There are a lot of videos about the software engineering industry, for example, the companies, how to make interviews, and also some introduction to big companies in the industry. So those are very helpful. If you just want to know how to become a software engineer, I can just tell you that if you don't have so much experience, just try as much as lead code as possible to practice yourself. And that's it. Now, becoming a software engineer is easy, but become a good software engineer is very hard. But here today, I would like to talk more about what is software engineering after working for a period of time in the industry and some of my personal understanding. So if you ask me this question, what is software engineering in an interview, I would probably answer, software engineering is to build a certain system, framework, or model. Because in my opinion, software engineering nowadays in the industry can be divided into two big branches. The first is just pure software engineers, and the second is data scientists. The software engineer category includes a lot of different types of software engineers. Feel free to check out my previous video talking about the 7 types of software engineers. And data scientists is mainly focusing in the models. And for software engineers, there are basically 2 different levels as well. The first level is basically the logic, the coding. When we're back to school, when we learn the algorithms, basically we are talking about that. The algorithm, the logic. And usually after some time, you will get in touch with the servers and the systems. And that's why system design is included. And that's the second level. So usually for a mature backend engineer, you have to be master in both categories. For some of the companies, for example Google, the reason why they do not task the new grads with the system design is because they know the students cannot learn any kind of system design back in school, and therefore they just want to task the coding, the logic part, which is the first level. However, when you join the industry for some time, usually when you get in touch with the products, you will get in touch of a lot of server issues. And that's why system design is introduced. So this is a very brief introduction about what is software engineering. I know some people might think software engineering just coding. No, it's just 50% correct, because coding is just the first level. The harder part is the service. In most of the time when you finish your code, you run your code successfully on a local machine, but when you deploy online, it's not working. And sometimes only the product version or the product environment can find this kind of issues, because say you have hundreds of employees in a company and you test, okay, your code is perfect. But when you upload your code in the server, you may find a lot of issues. For example, if it's a very popular app, a lot of people will access your app, and gradually you might find, for example, your algorithm or your code is not efficient because the memory percentage gradually increases over time, and maybe sometimes there is some serious bug issues like the hackers will just find for you. And these are the scenarios that you can see, okay, actually I'm not that good. And these are just the 2 perspectives for software engineers in the coding perspective, in the knowledge perspective. There are a lot of other soft skills that you have to handle, like how to have a efficient meeting, how you can talk with your managers, with the co-workers, with your interns, etc. And as a backend software engineer, you can usually see that your tech level will reach a limit in a certain amount of time, maybe 3 to 5 years, depends on different people. And after that, you will become a mature software engineer, and gradually you will find out that for most of the work you have done is to deal with those soft skilling part. Okay, so this is what the software engineering basically in my idea is for now, working after 2 years, okay? And I would like to share a bit more about my story to become a software engineer. Just as what I talked earlier, like back in school, we can only learn the first part of software engineering, right? Which is the logic, the coding. So if you ask me to use one sentence to summarize my story to become a software engineer, I would just say it's 70% of luck and 30% of hard work. For 30% hard work, you have to contribute 100% of your focus, your strength. And for 70% of that luck is you have to use maybe 50% of your focus to grab that kind of luck. And for me, I would say I use 100% of my focus to grab the luck. So if you watch my first video in this channel ever, when I sharing my personal stories, when I show up my face, which is to talk my software engineering experience back in Qualcomm, United States. So when you find a job, it's really, really hard. Since I know I wish to go to the United States to have these internships, and therefore I submitted a lot of resumes to a lot of companies, and only 2 of them give me a reply, and I grabbed Qualcomm this chance. And accidentally, they did not pass me a hardware engineer or IC engineer because my major is basically electrical engineer, right? But they just asked me, okay, you can do the software engineer there. So I said, okay, why not give it a try? And starting at that very moment, I know, okay, I wish to be a software engineer. That's it. And my code learning process back in school is also a bit lucky. So here's the case, you have to remember if you're students, no matter you're from computer science, computer engineering, or electrical engineering, or whatever major, it doesn't make you a software engineer. The only thing that makes you a software engineer is your effort and the decision. Okay, remember this. So if we understand this sentence in another perspective, which actually means no matter what kind of major you are in, you are able to become a software engineer by your effort. It is because the knowledge taught in school was not practical. It only talks a little bit about the logic, but it's not industry level logic. It talks about very complex algorithm, but this kind of algorithm may not happen in the industry. And for example, in my major, basically we only have 2 courses related to coding. One is to talk about the C language, pure coding. The second is talk about the algorithm. That's it. And when you take a look in the computer science students, I would say at least 20% of the students, they will not become a software engineer in the future. And because I realized this point when I was at college, I need to try to find out some ways to learn knowledge that are more relevant to the industry. And that's why I'm keen to join different competitions and try to write as much code as possible. When you're at school, you learn this kind of knowledge, and your peers, they all learn the same stuff. The only difference, maybe you get an A+ and they got an A grade, right? That's the only difference. But when you go to industry, when you have these kind of interviews, no interviewer cares. No one cares what you have learned. They only care about what you can do now. And for this kind of past experience, past knowledge back in the school, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't make a difference. But if you try to join a lot of competitions, it shows something different. And when they look at your resume, they would ask probably, okay, so what kind of knowledge you have learned in this kind of competitions? And the knowledge you usually learn in the competition are more practical, like you know how to write code to make it work. Maybe it's totally different from what the professor told you, but you know it, and you can tell to the interviewer. So my journey is basically, first I joined the Robot Masters competition when I was at year 1, and second year I joined the Simple Amazing Flying Machine competition. For these 2 early competitions, I have to admit, actually I put more effort in the mechanical engineering. But of course, I also get in touch with software engineering. And then I had an internship at Qualcomm, and then I had an internship at Panasonic, and then I had software engineering internships back in Qualcomm, and then I come to TikTok or Binance. And I would say TikTok is the place I learn at least 50% of the software engineering skills I will learn in my life. And TikTok is a game changer. It makes me know what is the true meaning of a software engineer, and somehow makes me who I am today at Grab. in the old days, especially from 1990s to 2000. The software engineering evolved super fast. But if you see nowadays, except for data scientists, okay, I'm just talking about pure software engineering, especially for backend software engineers. If you see this area, it's not evolving that fast anymore. Because over the past decades, it's actually the few things that happen in the cloud, the chips, like the RAM, the CPU, etc., and the algorithm. And these three factors are driving the software engineer to evolve super fast. But now with the concept of big data, something is actually slowing down. So I would say right now, because it's Web 2.0, and we somehow like have the trend to go to Web 3.0. But yeah, that might be another future topic. But what I want to talk about now is software engineering is kind of mature in nowadays system, okay? And you have to know what you want to be and what kind of thing you can do. I think this is done for this video. I've really talked about what is software engineering in the industry nowadays in my personal perspectives, and also what I become a software engineer. Hopefully, my story can motivate you to become a software engineer, because you have really known it. No one can be a software engineer without their own effort. And all the best to you. I know this is coming to the end of the semester, and some of you are finding jobs, so feel free to reach me out on LinkedIn. And do me a favor, before you ask me to refer you, do watch out this video about the suggestion to job refer, okay? All the best to you, and hope to see you in the next video.